Alright, looks we are live. Looks okay. Alright, so this is my first time streaming, so apologies ahead of time for any weirdness with audio and such. But yeah. So today, I don't know if anybody's been watching. Do a little test of the chat, make sure that's working. Looks like it is, and I can see my own test. Okay, so basically the whole point of these streams, this is the first one I'm doing, is going to be to roughly just discuss and my own board game designs and hopefully build a community around them and improve the games as I go. Yeah, and today we're going to talk about a game I started working on technically years ago when I was working at Victor Point Games, and I stopped working on it after I got laid off because it had a bad taste in my mouth because I was working on it there. But I'm coming back to it because it does have a lot of potential, and also it's Sherlock Holmes themed, and all of the last of the canonical Sherlock Holmes stuff is now in public domain, so there's no potential risks there. So without further ado, let's look at the game. Where's the button? There it is. Alright. Alright, so these are all the bits. As it were. Player aid is just for what each of the symbols means and all that. Some little tokens that represent different resources, and resources in this case are things like deduction, interrogations, physical investigation of the crime scene, and science. So stuff that's... Oh, and my cat's coming. Hey, Checkers. Oh, yes, you're a good girl. Yes. You can be on the stream too. It's fine. You can't do much more than that, though. Come on, you can be on lap. Okay. So this is the main board. This is where you track the progress of the current cases, and basically the way the game works is you go through a number of cases. It's a short campaign kind of idea. Yeah, so, and you are not necessarily playing as Sherlock Holmes in this game. You could be if you're playing solitaire, but if you're not playing solitaire, you're actually racing against Sherlock Holmes. So there's a track here for Sherlock's progress, there's a track for the villain, and if they escape or not. And then there's the individual cases. A campaign is 5 cases, so when a case finishes, the mark will either go right to the player's win or left to Sherlock wins. Okay, that's that. The case trail is... I'll come back to that. That's easy to explain after I explain stuff over here. Okay. This is a case card. It tells you how to set up a case. Right now there's only one card that's been designed. This is kind of a vertical slice of gameplay. And basically it tells you what cards here have to be included in the case. And that may change depending on things, but yeah, but basically what cards are over here, and then what cards are right here. These cards are the actual case. These cards are locations in the case. And my cat is, once again, rolling onto the cards. I know, baby, I'm sorry. Yes, you want to be on camera. Alright. Yeah, so basically one of the actions you can do will allow you to so when you the basic sequence of the game is you do an update to the case, see if checkers, this is awkward. Okay, basic sequence of the game is here. You update the phase, which is basically if there's not a case, you get a new case. And if there is, then you do a check to see if anything here progresses. Then you do an event card, and then you do the player actions, which is the move phase and the action phase and the action phase. So there's two separate action phases. Basically, when you move, you take one of your meeples and you place it somewhere. So say I'll go here. In this particular case, all the locations are in London, so this won't really apply here. But if you but the idea is if you move to a location that's in a different regional location, it's far enough of a move, then it takes your first action phase as well. So when you would move somewhere that would, say for example, let's just say pretend that Constable John Rance was significantly far outside of London, and you're done. You would move here and you put yourself on your side. Basically, after you do your action, so what that would indicate is that you would skip your first action phase. Essentially the idea. I'm babbling at this point, I apologize. But basically, so move phase, players place their meeples out wherever it is they want to go. And if it's a far move, they place them on their side. Not that would be a far move, but so that's how that works. Then the first action phase, if you're playing solitaire and you're playing as Sherlock, you would get 2 actions, but otherwise you get 1 action. And the actions you can take, let's just say I'm here, is you basically, for 1 action, you can put a disc down, and then you do whatever is next to it. So you look at your reference and do the thing. In that case, it would be you gain one of these tokens. Another action you can do is you can eliminate the impossible, which is you can try to remove a card from this stack. And that's how you solve the case. You got to remove the cards from those stacks. You can only do the one that's on top. You have to, in order to do the action, you have to spend the resource that's indicated on one on top, and then you have to do whatever test or is whatever's indicated at the bottom. So, for example, if I was to try to do this one, I would need to have a deduction token, one of these. Hopefully you can see that well. If I already have that, I'd spend it, put it back in the pool, and then I would have to discard an evidence card per player. That has changed. It's no longer card. It's just these tokens. Each player would have to discard one of these because you don't collect the cards anymore. That was an earlier version, but so that's that example. If it was instead doing an interrogation test, again, I would have to discard that resource. That's this resource, and then I have to roll dice against versus 8 in this case. So let me just bring that up to be easily seen. Cool. All right. Yeah. So, and the way a test works is basically you just roll 2 dice and you try to meet or exceed the number. There are ways to modify that. You can have disadvantage rolls and advantage rolls. Oh, and I'll just let the cat lay there for now. But basically, the way an advantage disadvantage rolls is you just add an extra die and then you remove either the highest or lowest depending on if you have advantage or disadvantage. So if you're rolling with an advantage, you remove the lowest die, and if you're rolling a disadvantage, you remove the highest die. So that's how that works. The way you can move to advantage is that you can discard extra resources of the resource type of the test. So in the case it's an interrogation test, you could discard additional interrogation resources to move up from disadvantage to a standard roll to an advantage. You can also discard other players in the same location as you can also discard to add to it. and they can also add to just give you a DRM. They just die roll modifier, just a +1 on the roll. It's not 1 per die, but +1 total. Yeah, that is, I think, a good overall high-level overview. These dice are for the they're custom dice. They are for the case update phase to see if Sherlock or the villain moved down. So you roll the die, and if you have any Sherlocks at all, Sherlock moved down. And if you have any, in this case I didn't, any Moriartys, this will move down. If this token ever gets to escape, players lose, Sherlock loses, the villain escaped. If the Sherlock token gets to solve, that just means Sherlock solved that particular case, and you would move this token over, saying that Sherlock solved the case, and it's sort of essentially a game clock. And then once all of these tokens are either in the player or the Sherlock category, then the players have either won or Sherlock has won. So, yeah, that's that. So, still need to cover this. So, in order to be able to solve these, I didn't cover that entirely well. You do need to be above certain thresholds. So let's say this is right here. It's at this. So the numbers on here can affect different tests. There are tests that specifically refer to the case trail. But so that's what the numbers are. But let's say that you have this token here, this little cube is right here, and you want to try to resolve this one here. Because this is an interrogation test, or interrogation card, you would spend the resource of the interrogation. This would move down to be below the first one below it, and then you would carry out the instructions. If you do that before you actually try to do the test. If you fail the test, you've still spent the resources. There are various things you can do to move this up, usually one at a time. But every time you do one of those actions, it moves down to below the last symbol of that type. Which is, yeah, that covers that. I feel like I'm forgetting something. But I don't know what it is. Okay. I guess I can go over the location effects. Yeah. So these are all covered here. But basically, if you just see the single icon, it just means draw the token of that type. If there's a number of icons and an arrow and another icon, that's a conversion thing. So you discard the ones on the left to get the one on the right. The ones that are thermometer are how you move this up. So if it's, so you discard the number on the left to move this up the number of thermometers on the right. And that basically explains all of these. So yeah, that is a broad overview of how the game works. There's no one here in chat to watch at the moment, it looks like, so this is just essentially being recorded for posterity and YouTube then. But yeah, I would love to answer questions if there were any, but since there's not, I'm just going to play through a little bit to see to kind of show how the game works. Since I'm playing solitaire, I'll be playing as Sherlock, so I'm not going to need all of these bits. I only need 1 meeple and 2 stacks of discs. Alright. Yeah, so we'll just start from the top. Case update phase. If there's a case, there is. Check for Sherlock villain progress. So roll these dice. And there is both, so that's fun. So, alright. If there's not a case, you draw a new case, set it up. But there is, and we did that. So then we do an event card. So my high quality cards here. Draw the card on top. Sit down here. All the flavor stuff isn't really there yet, but this is a science test versus the case thermometer, which is currently at 12, so I need to roll 12 to pass the test. If I pass, then I get to draw a resource of my choice. If I fail, then I have to discard a resource of my choice. I don't have any at the moment though, so it's not really a punishment if I fail, so I'm not going to do anything other than roll some dice and fail miserably. Yeah, so basically there's no effect though because I don't have resources yet. Alright, and then we go into the move phase. Looking at the case, I know I need to get some science and I need to get some, is that, it's supposed to be 2 cards there. Let's see. Sorry about that. It's cards sticking together. So I need to get some interrogation, and I need to get research, and I need to get deduction for the first cards on top. So given that, I'm going to go to a location where I can get some of that stuff. I'm going to go to well, I'll go to Underwood and Sons. I think it's the actual location of the original crime scene, if I remember correctly. So that's the move phase. I move there. Because I'm Sherlock, I get 2 phase, action phase 1 actions. I'm going to use them both to get these resources. The interrogation resource. And after you do your actions, you put yourself on your side to indicate that you've done your phase 1 actions, and then you go into phase 2, and any people that are on the side can then do actions. You still only get 1 action even in Sherlock in this phase, but since I'm not doing anything else, I'm going to do that. I'll get another one of these, and then yeah. So after I've done my action, I put my guy back up. Goes back up to the top. We do another update case phase. We do have a case, so we roll the dice. Sherlock advances his progress. And I have to then do one of these cards. Make a villain progress check. So this is basically just you roll the same dice again, but you only care about if Moriarty comes up. He does not. So that's that. Back into the move phase. I want to probably start converting some of these. Well, or I am going to want to convert some of those, but I will move here from move phase. Then for my and for my first action phase, I'm going to do one of those on that, and then I'm going to try to eliminate the impossible. This is an interrogation test versus 8, which is pretty low, so I have a pretty good chance. But I am going, so, oh wait, I can't do that yet because I have to, sorry. I forgot about the case trail, so moving here was a bad idea. But I already did it, so we'll just go with it. Check this. Now baby. So essentially I'm going to do that again, just get lots of these resources. And that, and then another one. So I have lots of interrogation resources at the moment. And after that, we'll do another check here. Back to the top. Sherlock, is it? I guess technically I don't need to do the Sherlock progress because this is a solitaire game. Sorry about that. And I only have one case, so I don't really need to worry about this either. But they're here. So I really only need to worry about this one track here. But anyways, but that didn't come down. Let's see. Do that. Now examination test, which I don't have any examination tokens to modify this. Oh, checkers, not right now. Oh, I know, baby, I know. I know you want to be on camera. Or rather, you want me to do something else, but... Okay, but it's examination test. If I pass, I'm able to move the progress up. If I fail, it's going to come down. So this is actually an important test. But it's against the current progress, so it's a relatively easy test. So I don't have any to modify it, so I'll just roll with the dice. Thankfully, I did roll higher, so it's going to go up a little bit. All right. Yes, checkers, I understand you want something. Poor baby. Yep, that's that. I'm gonna need to move this up. To do that, I will need to do some of the stuff here. Where can I do that? I could move. You move up at least 3 spaces for this one though. So I'm probably going to want some deduction because I can go up twice for only 1. I can also do it. So I'm going to move over to the. Well, yeah, I'm going to move to the telegraph for my move. And then for the first action of that move, for the first action of the action phase, I'm going to place a guy there to discard one of these to move this up twice. And I'm going to do my second phase 1 action. I'm going to do that to discard 2 of them. Do again, move it up twice. Alright. That gets me into my second action phase, and I'm going to now go ahead and do the eliminate the impossible. Discard one of these to try to solve this one. It's a test versus 8. I'm going to discard an additional one to give myself advantage, which I'm glad I did. Well, it would have worked either way this one, but I get rid of this and I have a roll to 12, and I get to take this card from here. I don't get, let's get the card, it's removed from here. It goes here. Alright. That's how that works, and I've done, yes, checkers. My cat wants attention very badly right now. She's scratching my leg. Yes, okay. Alright, that's that. Yeah. I think I've gone through all the moving parts at this point. I could just continue playing the game if that would work. I don't think there's anything else really to discuss. So yeah, let's continue on. It's the case update. I'm going to go ahead and remove these since I'm not actually using them at the moment. Since it's a solitaire game and only have one case anyways. Okay, so nothing happens there. We get another event. Add 1 to the case thermometer if I pass. If I fail, Make a villain progress check. It's a deduction test, which the reason why that matters as a deduction test is that's the resources I can spend to modify it. I don't have that resource right now, so I can just make the roll. I fail it, so I make another villain progress check, and the villain comes down because of the Moriarty there. Yes, checkers. Oh, the other action you can take that I haven't covered yet is you can just remove all of your discs from the board. If you do that, every time you do that, you make another villain check, and then there's a chance for Moriarty to escape. Or I guess I got enough Moriarty as the overall arcing villain, but it really this is just the villain die technically. Chip, stop stretching my leg, please. Which I'll probably have to do that sooner than later just to clear some of the stuff up. But I'm gonna need some reduction. I'm gonna need some science. So I will move. Well, this should be up there by now. I will move to one of the places I can get science. I guess it doesn't matter which one. I'll come here. Get some science. And also a investigation. Alright, that's all my actions. Come back to see if the advances. He do. An event. Draw Evans card of choice. If I pass. Okay, and that's versus the case thermometer, which is currently at an 11. I failed. So all players discard Newton's card. Looks like the one to discard is probably... No, stop scratching my leg here. Probably this last interrogation one I had. Maybe, at least. So that happened. Then I'm going to move, and I think I want to try to get some deductions. So I'm going to come back to 221B Baker Street. And then for the first action, I'm going to convert any one of the other 3 resources into a deduction resource. I'll do this one. Yeah. Yes, checkers. Hourglass. To gain one of these, and in the second action, I will convert that deduction into 3 of any one of the other types. And in this case, since I'm about to go into doing science, I'll probably grab science stuff. Yeah, so let's grab some science resources. And then I like action phase 2. I'm going to try to... Yeah, I'm going to try and do... Yeah, I'm gonna try and do the science one. So I discard this, move this down below here. I'm going to then spend an additional resource to turn this into an advantage roll, and another one, give a +1. Well, get +2 DRM. Okay, and I'm trying to beat a 12, or meet or beat a 12 with. I did not, because that's total. I got rid of the 1, rolled 8 natural, I got +GM, so it's at 10. And I failed, but I still spent all the resources. And yes, checkers, you're a good girl. Okay. But yeah, that's basically where the game is right now. I'm not gonna actually finish the game. I don't think. I don't really. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna finish that. I'm not gonna finish playing the game right now. I just wanted to kind of put this up on the internet and hopefully get some comments on the video. If there was any people watching live, get some comments live. I just want to get some feedback on see what people think about the game, the conceptually where it's at. So, thank you very much for watching this in the future. Yeah, that's where we're at. You have a good day.